There's no teaching young men or young women, homeowners, how to water their lawn or plant grass seeds, or how not to change oil in front of your house and put an engine in your front yard. When you begin to engage people and forsake moving out of the community, you can't help but to re-educate the community that you live in. It amazes me how many people that will say that they're down for the cause cannot be found anywhere where the need zone is. When we begin to talk about the solutions, we will build, as an example, here in Kent County, we're building, we have $900 million in construction on the books right now. Well, if you reduce the profit margin 5%, hope you're listening to this, government officials, candidates.
Right.
If you reduce that 5%, you can create 285 indigenous jobs for young men that are standing on street corners. We had Commissioner Mayhew come out to the gym, not to campaign, but to explain to some people that yes, as a felon, you can vote. It takes a lot of effort.
Right.
It takes a lot of time. Solutions means you've got to get involved. You cannot simply exchange dialogue. You've got to have a plan of action.
Right.
Immediate action.
Thank you, Reverend Bishop. We're gonna tell all the panelists right now. For the record, we're going to tell all the panelists to limit their responses. We want to be quick and sharp because we know that Reverend Bishop is a very prolific speaker and he captivates us. But we want to be quick and sharp because we're late and the elders are going to, the long-standing, will have my head. So we're gonna move along with the solutions. We're gonna go. If anybody has any more viable solutions, what we should be doing for MCRI, they can respond on top of their next question. We're to that level now. So. Mr. Akibang, if you could proceed with the question.
Hey, how you doing? So, glad to see the community out here, but I don't see enough men out here. Most of the men right now is on the block. We need to get that eliminated. How are we going to do that? This is my proposal. Every one of y'all got different mindsets. You got religion, they got business, they got thinking about the children's future. We got financial, we got thinking about gang violence. I didn't really hear too much about gang violence, to be honest with you. You know, and I think that's where we forget. Everybody's thinking about the youth. We're not thinking about our soldiers, our warriors. The people that's on the blocks got the balls to sell drugs and kill another individual. They are really our warriors, and we need to see that. We need to let them know, okay, y'all the baddest cats on the block, no doubt.
Right.
But if y'all so bad, make sure that grandmas can walk across the street without getting hurt on your block. Make sure that the kids are learning on your block. Make sure they're not on the street. But we have to implement that to them. We keep forgetting about them. They are like the Lord, like I said, well, forget about them. They're the Lord's cause. They're not the Lord's cause. They are our soldiers. We need to really realize that. You know? When it comes to implementing a plan, that's my proposal. We got different mindsets. Let's start getting like a ballot of how many people feel strongly about religion? How many people feel strongly about financial institutions? How many people feel strongly about education? How many people feel about gang violence? Yada, yada, etc. And all those people that feel on your point, and everybody else's point,
right?
Okay, that's a body.
Sure.
Y'all the CP unit right now. Sure. You know what I'm saying? But we got to expand and make the thing work.
Right.
And how we going to do that if we don't know, because everybody got different mindsets, you know?
Sure.
Brother Azizi and stuff like that, he got points, you know what I'm saying? And you got points. But it was a quick conflict subliminally, you know what I'm saying? And that's not cool, you know? We need to, okay, you feel like that, and you feel like that, okay, you get your peoples. Because y'all leaders.
Right.
You know what I mean?
All right, Mr. Akiba. And I would disagree with that. I think that out of the disagreement between leadership, you find your answer. That's what we're trying to do here with the future of the black community. I think a lot of focused on institutions building up the young people, because there's a lot of people out here who are on the block, as you said, and You know, we have to find a way to market to them. A lot of them we're not going to get. A lot of them we're going to have to work to get. A lot of brothers we're going to have to work to get when they come home. Is there any, and we talked about Life Quest, which intervenes with the young men on the street level.
Right.
Are there any other solutions that people would like to speak to on the panel in regards to what Mr. Akabane?
John, if I can, please. And brother, you're 100% right. Young scholars, young warriors, young gentlemen, even though they don't act like gentlemen all the time, young ladies, even if they don't act like young ladies all the time, they are scholars, they are warriors. They are, again, our best and our brightest. Many people have said that, and again, I agree with you 100%. I think a solution is, and my competency is politics, and the solution is, and the brother with the spiritual solution, brother with the education solution or the economic solution, you know, my piece is politics. So I think we need what's called a unified black agenda, all right? And I think that all of us can find something in common that we agree with. All right? I may not agree with you on everything, but there's something that we agree with together. And so I think Brother Jelks and Brother Jasper are talking about something to that effect in terms of an implementation opportunity, but I think it needs to be what's called, from my perspective, a unified black agenda, where we look at all of these issues and we say, this is what we as black people in Grand Rapids, this is what we want. And then the way, just lastly, when you talk about accountability, as soon as someone step out of line, as it relates to that black agenda, then you know that person's not for the black community.
Gotta keep them coming, and we got to keep it moving.
Just can I say one more thing?
Quickly.
We forgot the love. That's what we forgot as people. We forgot the love, and we really scared to stop that.
Appreciate that. You have a question by our esteemed Commissioner Mayhew for the panel?
I really don't. Am I coming across? I really don't have a question. What I wanted to propose is a solution. And one of the solutions, like Rodney talks about the politics, and I think that's a great solution. But I think in the political arena, you know, we have precinct delegates. We have a whole political system that is always ignored when people talk about politics. And if we don't learn about how to get into the precinct, see, what I've been doing recently is going out in the street to Henry and Bates and stuff, and talking to people about taking a gang cruise and just transforming your cruise into party members, into precinct delegates. And then you can take power and leverage your power legally. You know, so if you're a gang out in the street, then you can take that gang and take it inside the political apparatus and then sit and bargain with the union, bargain with the MEA, bargain with those people that got the bogus teachers and say, I want those bogus teachers out in exchange for my vote on the inside of this political apparatus. That's called precinct delegate and party buildings. And those precinct delegates become state delegates, and state delegates nominate attorney general candidates. They nominate Supreme Court candidates. And we have the power to do that if we taught the correct political apparatus. And that's on both sides of the aisle.
And I think our community has the power to address a lot of these issues. This is why we're doing this in Future of the Black Community in Grand Rapids. We're not going to accept any more questions. We're going to have to save them for the next panel because we're late in the game. We want a quick response from everybody, and I mean a 20 to 30 second response on closing thoughts, solutions, and what we need to do in the black community in Grand Rapids.
You know, when we begin to talk about the paradigm shift of leadership, we need to recognize that tenured leaders need to begin to prepare successors. You know, and this is not a campaign statement. We need to sit down in a unified forum and say, your time has been great, but we need to lay hands on the next generation. In order to do that, somebody has got to be willing to concede that their time is going into the gray area. And until we do that, we're going to continue to have a political infighting where neither candidate can win.
You know, some agenda items just that we can take with us. We know that there's a brother who's presented a proposal downtown Grand Rapids. No other proposal compares to him. He's at $85 million in financing. He's going to at least create 10,000 jobs. Top entertainment attorney in the country. One of the top international construction